Closing this file. So we see in DDL, DML, and TCL and data types. And now we're going to see about constraints.sql. Okay. So this is one of the very important topic in SQL. Okay. When you go for any interview, surely they will ask, or else if you go to write some OC exam, means you can surely expect at least 2 or 3 questions from this topic. Okay, this constraints topic. So constraints. So what is the meaning of constraints? It's nothing but I'm just giving some rules to my columns. You already know for each and every column we are going to give some data type, right? So apart from that, I'm also pushing something by providing some rules to the column, so that if that rule is satisfied, then only that in particular insert statement will work, otherwise it doesn't work. So constraint is nothing but it giving some rules to columns in a table. So this is what I written here. Okay, giving some rules to the column. So what are the types of the constraint we're going to see? Is a primary key constraint, not null, default, check, unique, and foreign key constraint. Okay, so we're going to see the each and every among the 6 types. Okay, for each and every type we have a separate meaning. Okay, and this topic is also very easy to understand this. Okay, so first thing is a primary key. What does the primary key means? It's a very simple. If you declare some column as a primary key constraint, means that particular column, it won't allow the duplicate values. Okay, and also it won't allow the null values. So these are the 2 rules for the primary key. For example, here I'm just creating a table. Okay, create table primary underscore test. And here I'm just giving emp id number, then I'm giving my constraint name. Is the first type. Okay, then I just given a comma. After the data type, I'm immediately giving my constraint type. Okay, among the 6 I can able to give any of the one. So now we're going to see about your primary key. So next one is a ename varchar 2 of 50. So how many columns is there in my primary test table right now?
2 columns.
2 columns. What are the column names?
And ENP ID and ename.
Right. So I'm executing this. See, it's look like how we normally creating a table, right? But
Yes.
I additionally added a primary key. Let's see how it's behaving. Okay. So when I try to create a table, you can just check the table. It will you will get a message like a primary test table is created like that. Okay. Primary test created. Till now you didn't find any difference. You will find a difference in that insert statement. So insert into primary underscore test values. So I'm just giving for the emp id, I'm just giving the value as em1. Then comma. Then for the e name, I'm just giving like some name here. Okay. This is a normal insert statement. So we'll get a message 1 row inserted. Let's see for the second row. So for which column I declared the primary key? For the
IG. Employee IG.
Now let's see what happened for the next row. I'm just giving the EMP ID as 1. Okay. I'm just giving a EMP ID as a 1. And for the E name, I'm just giving the value as a meson. So here what happened, I'm trying to give the same value here. Am I right?
Right.
Okay. So, but you already know the primary key means what is the meaning of primary key? It won't
It,
allow the
you
null
want to
value.
load the null value, and
Won't
it
allow
will
the
load to
values.
duplicate
Values. So, but see
values.
here, I am trying to insert a duplicate value because already one was there and it's got inserted into my primary test table. Now I am again inserting this. Now let's see what happened. So it will throw an error. Even the syntax is look like a perfect, but it's throwing an error. So what is the error you get? Unique constraints violated. So when you get into a job or whenever you go for any interview, some error message you will get like this means unique constraints violated. You have to be very sure what is the reason for this error. Okay, what is the reason? I am trying to insert some duplicate values, but my Oracle is not allowing because that column is going to be contain some constraints. Here, in my case, it contains some primary key constraints, right? So whenever you see the error message, okay, I always advise my student what they will normally will do means they will write some queries actually, and somewhere it gets some error means they just keep on checking the syntax without seeing the error message, without reading the error message.
The error message gives some information about what you didn't do
Studying the
right.
error message is very very important. So at which case and all your error will throw on that you have to be study the error message because if you know what is the reason of this error message very quickly you can fix the problem. Otherwise you can keep on checking the syntax what is the problem like that nothing will get into your mind and it will take some time also to fix that error. So
Right.
please, as a developer also, I'm just saying, okay, once you get into your job also, you have to study. While learning itself, I'm just teaching you something, okay? And apart from this, whenever you see some error message, try to read that error message. So here, whenever you face, in your future also, whenever you face this error message, unique constraint violated means, you have to be very sure, okay, in my script, I'm trying to insert some duplicate values. So it's not allowing to insert here. So that is a reason for this. So here in my case, this is not working, right? So now see here, I'm for the EMP ID column. What about now? Do you think this query will execute without any problem?
Yes, I
Yes.
think so.
It is a valid query or invalid query?
It's valid.
That's a valid query.
Herman, why you are saying is an invalid?
No, I say it's
It
valid.
just said it's valid.
Valid. Okay. I wrongly yet. Okay, say valid query because I am just giving a unique value. So see here, you get a message one row inserted. Okay. So what about next? I'm just copying this and pasting it here and I am giving a null value. Do you think what here I'm just giving my name? Party. Okay. Now what about this? Do you think this one will allow or else it will not allow?
It will not allow.
You do not.
Allow. It will not allow. Why? Because I'm trying to insert the null values. Whenever you people you have to keep it in mind, some columns and all, your boss will say insert null value to the column. Then don't enclose the null within a single quote. That what is wrong. Don't do like this. You have to give the null value. Suppose some column is going to give some null value mean just give like this. So what is the meaning of null?
0.
Nothing but it's not equal to 0. For example, just see here. I'm showing one table.
Okay.
HR. I'm just expanding the HR schema. And here I'm expanding the tables. And I'm clicking on my employees table. Okay. The right hand side one window will get open when you click on the table name. Here, initially it will show how many columns present in the table and what is the data type and all. If you like to see the table data means, click on the data tab. Just close this window. And see, Mason is said it is 0, right? So here, see, I'm having one column called commission underscore PCT, right? So in this column, I'm having a null values, right? And some columns having some value like a 0 0.4, 0 0.3 like that. Okay. So in Oracle wise or else in SQL wise, you need to understand null is not equal to 0. Null means it doesn't contain, this column doesn't contains anything. See here, if I double click, it doesn't contains anything, right?
I understand now.
It's the absence of information. Null is
Right.
equal to like this. Null is like an absence of information. Okay. And moreover, null is not equal to 0 or blank spaces. Okay.
I
So
have a
now
question.
here, blank space. I will tell you. You suppose just see here. I'm giving a null. I'm just giving like a 0. Just see this column and this column is looking like the same. No, right?
No.
And moreover, something instead of a 0, I'm just giving some blank space. Just see, it's showing as a null. No,
No.
blank
No.
space is also a special character. Something is there in this column. It's a special characters. But here null means what? It doesn't contain anything. It doesn't contain any special characters also.
Mhm.
Okay, they will ask this in an exam. Okay, so be aware of that.
Okay.
Okay, so 1 minute. Let's change something. Go back. Okay, so I'm just closing this window. So null is the absence of information. Null is not equal to 0 or blank spaces. So these are about your primary key constraints. Okay, so you people having any doubt of primary key? So what is primary key actually? It won't allow the null values and it won't allow the duplicate values. That's it. Right?
Right.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
My question is, if I want to create a table, is there optional to precise the primary key?
Primary key. Actually, what developers will always do means when they create a table, they will surely declare some column or one column as a primary key. Why they are creating like this means because some row contains some unique value. Suppose you having just see the employee table. Here in my employee table, they are declaring employee ID as a primary key. Why? While they are creating, they are putting the employee ID as a primary key. So that in future, no person will try to insert the duplicate employee ID. Am I right?
Right.
Okay. So it's always better. Actually, it is not a mandatory. Okay. But it's always, they are advising us whenever you create any table, some column, just you people choose it up for the unique values and keep that column as a primary key. If you check for employee table, employee ID is a primary key. And if you check for some department table, where is departments? If you check for the department table, there is one column called department ID. So you can keep this department ID as a primary key. So that in future, whenever the other person try to insert some duplicate department ID, it won't allow. So that dirty records will not come into the table. That is the main purpose of using the constraint. So whenever you are creating some table, you people logically need to think about these things also. Okay, some columns is always going to contain some unique values, means please put that column as a primary key. Mostly the people will put the very first column as a primary key. Okay, but it is not mandatory. And one more thing you need to remember about the primary key is we cannot create more than one primary key per table. For only one column only you can, we can able to declare only one primary key constraint per table. You can't able to give like this, for example, like this. Here you are giving a primary key, and here also you can't able to give like this. This query will not work if I execute, because there are the two different primary keys. But in SQL wise, in a table, there should be at least one primary key, at least not only one primary key alone will work, not more than one. Okay, can you able to get me?
Yes.
Yes.
What about Miss then?
Yes.
Okay, so we can't able to create more than one primary key constraint per table. So primary key is okay. And the next thing is, I'm just creating some other table. Create table. What is the next type of constraint? Not
Not no.
null is very easy.
Not no.
Create table, not null tests. It's my table name. I'm just giving EMPID number as a primary key and ename as not ename. For each column, immediately you have to mention the data type, and you simply give like a not null. Okay, so how many different constraints I'm using here? I'm
Two
using a
different.
for the first column and the second column as a not null. Not null means what? Means it won't allow the null values. Not null. It won't allow the null values. This is what I written here.
Okay.
Right? It won't allow the null values.
Okay.
Now let people tell me. I'm just writing some insert statement here. Do you think this query will work?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Work? Okay.
Yes, it will work.
I will clear out the error message, then I will execute so that we can see for sure. Okay. So this one will work. Okay, wait. What about this? This will work?
This
No.
won't work
Why?
because we already put the not null. No.
What about Herman? Why it's not working?
It's not gonna work because when we were creating the table, we already mentioned that.
Not null means what?
Not
It
null.
won't allow the null values. Even numbers or ename is getting duplicated. That doesn't a problem, but it won't allow the null values.
I think
But
it's
then-
not. It's not. This restriction is not on ename. It's not on employee ID, right?
Very good. So you have to be measure wise, it doesn't a problem because for the E name, I'm giving a measure. Already
Yes.
measure is I inserted, but even though I'm trying to give a duplicate value, but here for the E name,
Okay.
just giving a not null only. So it will
Yes.
accept the duplicate value, but the concept is what? It won't allow the null value. So for the E name, it doesn't create any problem. But the problem is there here.
Okay.
Why? Because for the EMP ID, I'm just giving null, but you already know primary key won't allow the null values. Right?
Right.
Okay.
Is what we learned just in the top. Primary key don't allow the duplicate values and it don't allow the null values. So due to this, this won't work. This query will not execute. See what type of error is coming. Cannot insert null into this EMP column. If I try to give some duplicate value into the EMP ID means unique constraint violated, that message will come. But whenever you insert, you get error message, cannot insert null means, okay, you have to be very sure. It's telling the table name also, right? It's telling the table name and it's also telling the column name. Yes, for the EMP ID, it cannot insert the null value because it is a primary key. Okay, now what about this? Line number 25. This will work or not? Line number 25, I'm just
This
giving.
won't work.
Now tell me, it will work or
This
not?
this will not work
Why?
because on the e name we have a null value.
What about Herman?
Oh no. This will work because we
Ah,
have something and the null is like a name right now.
very good. Null is not equal to null within a single code, right? Null means you
Okay,
have to
right.
give null within a single code. So this will work. Let's we check. Herman, can you able to get this?
Yes, I got it.
Okay. So this will work. What about this?
Now this will not work
Why?
because we have a null value on e name.
Yes. Okay. So will not work. So what is the error message you will get?
Get
You cannot insert null into
conduct
column.
into yes.
Cannot insert null into ename column. Okay. So the next thing
So
is
I have a question.
yes.
Maybe I have already the answer, but I want to make sure.
Hmm.
Is it by trying the error or the wrong way to do things that we learn about error messages?
Learning, yes. Actually, whenever you write a query, we are very sure that we will write a perfect query at the very beginning itself. Am I right?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
right.
Why I am advising you to study the error message also means they will not ask you the error message and all in the exam. Okay.
No, it's just for yourself, right?
It is for your self detection. I mean, where is the problem? Why, how to fix the error? Because mostly the developers will spend, because in once you get into your job and all, they will give some select query. That select query itself having 200 lines. Okay, single query itself containing 200 to 300 lines. Okay, suppose you are executing some query and your boss is telling you this query is throwing some error message. Okay, try to fix this. So what you people will do, but he at the same time he will also give you a deadline for that issue. Within today or within tomorrow, you have to complete this task. I mean, you have to fix the error. So this is the way how you are going to work in an IT field. Okay, they will give some task to you, not only this error message. This is one of the task, one type of the task. So you have, that's why I am always, while learning itself, I am always advising memorize the error messages also somewhat. Okay, but for the exam purpose is no need. Okay, so it's up to you. Okay, how you, because while learning itself, if you just get into these points into your mind, then it is easy for you to fix out any error. Suppose you are once you get you go for any interview also, they will have 3 different rounds or 4 rounds like that. Okay, one round is, first round is going to be a oral round, maybe in telephone, or else through some online test they will filter you. That is the first process of filtering for the SQL developers. And for the second round, what they will give you means they will give some SQL developer, okay, and ask you to write some queries and all. So while you writing a query, if you face any problem at the time, what you will do, if you know the reason of the error message, you can easily fix it out, right?
Right.
Because they will give some specific, within your 1 hour you need to complete this task. Likewise only they will give in the interview also. You have to frame some query, you have to create the table and insert some records. While inserting, you show it with showing any problem means already we are working in a very tension mode. Okay, then if you face any problem, you will get frustrated, right? So that's why at that point of a time it will help you. So that's why study the error message also. No need to mug it up the exact words and all. Something will come like that. If this is a scenario, okay, in this scenario I'm trying to insert some null values to the not null column, means okay, I will get cannot insert null value to the particular column. Likewise, you just understand that error message, that's enough. Okay, so see, and here also it show you error starting at line number 26. So the problem in line number 26, in some, whenever you write some big queries and all, it will show you in which line it's showing an error and what is the reason for this error. So always study that error messages also. No need to study exact O or A, what is the message code like that and all. No need to go in depth. Okay, what is the error message it's showing? Just for a sake, just read it down. Okay, if you keep on practice, automatically it will reside in your mind. But they won't ask about this and all in your OCA exam. This will need when you get into your job only. Okay.
Thank you.
So any other doubt apart from this?
No, I'm good.
Okay. What about line number 27? Do you think this query will execute or not?
Yes, it will execute.
What about Herman?
No, no, it won't execute because we got a duplicate number on employee ID.
Very good. Okay. Herman, can you able to get it?
Yes.
Okay. We are trying to insert a duplicate value. So this row will not execute. Any idea? What's the type of error message that you're going to see when I run this?
I think it's not allowed for the primary key duplicate.
Unique constraints violated.
Okay.
Whenever you are trying to insert some duplicate values, write it down. Take a notes in your note
Okay.
diary or anywhere. Whenever you try to insert some duplicate values, you will get unique constraints violated. Note it down so that you won't forget.
Okay.
So whenever you try to insert some null values to the not null column, you will get
Yes. Earlier, when I tried to put some data and I had some errors, but it wasn't not now. It was something else.
okay. Whenever you face some error message, you can show me in your WhatsApp also so that I can able to guide you. What's the problem like that? Okay.
Okay.
Next type. So the third type is a default. Okay. So default means if you don't give the column values, then it will take the default value. So I will tell you with an example. I'm just creating a table again. Default test. Def ID number. And reference name. Cat 2 authority default shipping. 1 minute, I need to check whether the syntax is correct or not. Okay, correct. So I'm creating a table, and what's my table name? Default underscore test, right?
Mhm.
And for the def ID, I'm just simply giving like a number, and for the def name, I'm just giving some varchar 2. And here what I'm doing, default shipping. So what is the meaning of default shipping is nothing but in some insert statement and all, if I didn't give the value to this column, Oracle automatically take it as a shipping. For example, just to see here, insert into default underscore test is my table name, then values, then I'm giving a value to the def ID as a 1 because it is a number data type. I'm just giving crown ship like that. Now it will work. Okay, and you will get one row inserted. Now if you check in your table, select star from default underscore test. So whatever the value that you inserted, the same thing is coming here. Am I right?
Right.
Okay, till now we people didn't implement the default concept. Now see here, insert into default underscore test, def underscore id, because in a DML statement itself, I just explained the two different types of insert statement. Okay, this is a second type. So here, if you follow this, insert into table name values means immediately if you give values means you must need to give values to all the column, either null values or that's your wish. Okay, something you need to give. But here in this insert statement, what I'm doing, insert into default test, and after the table name, I immediately open the bracket, and within the bracket, I am telling my Oracle for def underscore id column, you have to give the value as 2. I'm not giving any information about def name column. Am I right?
No.
I didn't give any value. I just given the value to the def id column alone. Am I right? Now let's see what happened. One row inserted. When I check this table, shipping is inserted. I didn't give any value for the def name, but how the shipping is got inserted here?
Oh.
Because of the,
When you were
yes.
when you were creating the table, it
Hmm.
looks like for any any null value, it means this message means for any null value, we put shipping in the null
Yes,
value.
null values you can also see here in this case so that you can understand well about this. Insert in 1 minute. Better I can copy this. See here, I'm just giving the shipping ID as a 3, and here I am giving null. Okay, I'm giving like a null. Let's see what happened in this case. Here I'm giving something, some information to the def underscore name. One row inserted. Now when I check the table again, null is there. So for this default constraint is applicable only when you give the syntax like this. Here, what is the information I am providing here? Insert null value to the def name column. Something I'm given here, right?
Yes,
To the
yes,
oracle, some
yes.
instruction I'm giving. But here I didn't speak about the def name column. That's why in this case alone, the default constraint will work. So please ask me if you people have any doubt in understanding this default constraint.
I understand now. It's not null, but if you don't give any information about it, it will put
Column name itself, you didn't give anything
yes,
about in the
yes
answer.
for column name, for def name, it will put shipping.
Yes, it put shipping. Herman, you have any doubt? Or else somewhere you are struggling, just tell me so that I can help you. Herman?
Yes, yes. I'm good. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Uh, I was
So,
doing something else. Yes, I'm good. I'm good.
okay, then we can go to the next. So far, we have seen a primary key constraint and not null, default.
Mm-hmm.
Then the fourth one is a check. Okay, let's we learn about a check. For that, for each and every constraint, I'm creating a special table for you guys to understand you better. Okay.
Okay.
Check underscore test, so that I will give this latest file. Okay, you people just copy the content and paste it in constraint.sql. That I will guide you. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
check.test, because this content I'm just newly writing here, right? It's not there in your SQL developer, so I will share you. Check ID is your number. Then instead of a check ID, we can give EMP ID as a number, then salary as a number, and also I'm giving some check, and after that word check, immediately open and close the bracket, and within your bracket you people need to use some condition. So what is the condition I'm just giving? My salary always must need to be greater than 5,000. If I try to insert the salary which is lesser than 5,000, then it won't allow. Okay, just see here, 36. Insert into check underscore test values. I'm giving like a 1 and the salary 4,005. Do you think this will work?
No, because it's
Uh,
less than 5,000.
Hmm. So check constraints violated. Okay, check constraints violated. So suppose I'm giving like this. Do you think this will work now?
Yes.
yeah, because
Okay. So this is another type. In the check, you can give some values so that whenever we insert some values, it automatically check whether it is matching these conditions or not. So see here, it getting in. It allow us to insert because my value is greater than 5,000.
5,000.
What about this?
No. Oh yeah. I don't know.
It won't allow or else it will allow.
no, not
It won't allow because it's equal to
the
5,000,
5,000.
but it's not greater than 5,000.
Won't allow. Suppose your boss is saying, okay, greater than or equal to 5,000 means, and you can simply
Yes.
put like this.
Okay.
Okay.
Like this, greater than or equal. So that if you give like this, then the 5,000 is allowed. Because
Gonna
what
work.
symbol you are giving? Greater than or equal. Mommy, இதை வாங்கிட்டு வந்திருக்காங்க பாரு. உள்ள போய். Okay. So you people having any doubt in the check constraint?
No.
Is it fine?
Yes, it is fine for me.
Okay. Then the next type is a unique. Okay. So read down what I written here for the unique.
Really low. Not one. Duplicate value.
So what I written?
Oh, this key will allow null values and it won't allow duplicate values.
So what is the difference between the unique constraint and the primary key? It's looking like more or less same. So what is
Yes,
it?
the primary key don't allow duplicate value and no null values, but the unique key allows null values and doesn't allow duplicate values.
Yes. So unique constraint allow the null value, but primary key constraint won't allow the null value. But both the constraints don't allow the duplicate values.
Duplicate value, right?
Herman, can you get it?
Yes, I get it.
Okay. So can you able to get this point?
Yes.
What is the difference between the unique and the primary key?
The difference is only that
Null values.
unique.
The null value
Unique
about the
will
null
allow the
value.
null value, but primary key won't allow the
Won't
null value.
allow.
Now we're going to check with an example so that you people have some good idea on this constraint. We will create some table. Create table unique underscore test and unique underscore write something. I'm just giving empid as a number and ename varchar 2 of 50 unique. Okay, so I'm just creating a table here. Table unique test created. Okay, I'm clearing the error messages. Okay, now I'm inserting some values. Let's you people just say how it's working. So do you think this will work?
Yes.
So this query is working. Okay. And what about here? Here I'm just giving. Do you think this will work?
Yes.
Doesn't?
Yes. With you will work.
Let's we check it. Very good. And next thing. Do you think this will work?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Herman, are you sure?
Yes.
Why yes is coming in his very slow motion. Let's see how you people are doing. It's not working. Why? That's why yes is
It
coming in a
was,
slow motion for the Herman,
yeah,
right?
that's why.
So why it's not working? Because I already told you unique means distinct. It won't allow the duplicate values. Already XX is there.
Ah,
Trying to insert XX again.
Oh, you get,
Okay, so it won't.
okay.
Okay, then. But are you people clear, right? What I'm saying.
Yes.
yeah, I get it.
Okay, what about this?
No,
No, it won't work.
It won't work.
No,
no, because
Sure.
it won't work because
it won't work.
we had already null on 41.
But this null is not equal to this null, right? Now,
Right.
and what
This,
you will need to keep it in mind that it will allow the null values. Even you have so many null, it will allow the duplicate null also. Okay. CRC, I'm just executing this. It one row inserted. Let's see how this table is look like. So I'm having so many ones here. It's getting repeated because I didn't give any constraint to the EMP ID, right? So that's it. It's not a problem. For the E name, I'm giving unique. What is the meaning of unique? Unique means
doesn't duplicate. Like,
yes, it won't allow duplicate and it won't allow null. See, sorry. It will allow the null values. Okay, and it allow the null values. So here it duplicate is not allowing. So that's why this query is not executing. And this query execute. Why? Because it will allow the null values.
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose I am executing this query again. Do you think this will work?
no.
Let's see
It's
what
good.
happens. It's work. So many null you can give it. Null is getting repeated. It doesn't a problem. See here. The third row and fourth row even is looking like a same, two null. It doesn't a problem because it will allow the null values. Even if you give so many null, that doesn't a problem. Values alone, it will check. And why this null is looking like a different? It's not coming inside a bracket because here I'm just, this is not equal to null. See here, if I double click, the sentence is coming NULL. But if I double click here, nothing is there. Right? This one is different. Something is not equal to null. I'm just returning something within a single code. This null is what? What is the meaning of this null? Is the absence of information. Doesn't contain anything.
Okay.
Okay. So now tell me, this one work or not?
No, it's not gonna work because it's gonna
Why?
be duplicate.
Because already XXX is there. Right? Okay. So people having any doubt here?
I have a question.
Yes.
So, right now, when we were creating the table, we put unique only on the ename side. Do we have to put, if we want a unique on EMP ID, do we need to put on the EMP ID unique too, or just unique?
Don't put for the EMP ID and all, don't put unique because it allowing a null value, right? Suppose you people are doing some job, right? And for each of you people, they're having some employee ID, right? Is there any in your office you having some employee ID or employee number in your ID card? Am I right?
Right.
Okay. So some unique number is there to define yourself. Is there any employee which doesn't have employee ID? So don't,
No.
because unique allow the null values. So don't put employee ID as a unique. That is not your proper way of writing a query.
Okay.
You can put employee ID as a primary key.
Okay.
Okay.
That is a good constraint for that column, right? You
Okay.
have to be logically think. Okay.
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 About that. For example, in an email, suppose you are creating a column called a email. Okay, for the email column, you can just put a unique because no duplicate email is allowed.
Yes.
Some person may not also have some email, right? Some people
Right.
doesn't create any email. Okay, that person also valid person for us. Okay, so null values will get allowed for that person.
Okay.
So how to think logically, then you have to put your proper constraints to each table. That they will guide you once you get into your job. They will tell you all the business scenario and they will guide you what type of constraints and all you need to write it down like that and all. Okay. And you can also give some suggestions to your manager or to your team leader like that. Okay. So you create some table with some proper constraints. Okay. So then you can for a salary column and all, we can give a check constraints. Suppose your boss is asking to include a check constraint, means you can do it. Okay. For example, right now you people just understand what is the meaning of each and every constraint and how it's working. That alone is enough. I'm asking you, right, whether this insert statement is work or not, work or not. Likewise, only they will ask in an exam. Okay, is a choose the best answer only. They won't ask you to write some queries and all in a OCA exam. Okay, they will give you 4 different choices. From the choices, you have to pick it up the best one. Okay, so we learned about 5 different constraints. What are they?
Yeah, primary key, not null, default, check, unique, and foreign
Okay.
key.
Foreign key, I will take it in the next class.